We begin our coverage with the mile, where already this year a new collegiate record was set by Cooper Teare.
Yeah, Cooper Teare, Cole Hocker, Charlie Hunter, all of Oregon ran one of the most impressive collegiate miles ever. They're now 1, 2, and 4 all-time in the collegiate mile. Really impressive. But let's talk George Kusha, the Nebraska junior. Great race this year in cross country. His personal best is 3:57.93. He's actually ranked at that 3:57, only 12th in the country. It's just been a really impressive year for the mile all around, with 34 going sub-4 so far. Also want to take a look at Tom Dodd. Kusha and Dodd raced a couple weeks back at this exact track, 3:58, and he was second in that race. And then Matthew Shadler of Indiana, don't count him out, he was second last year to Oliver Hoare. Now, Shadler, he ran 3:59 a couple weeks ago in that same race. It went Kusha, Dodd, and Shadler. So this race could get tactical. We could see a lot of names mix in.
Let's take a look at the lane assignments. You'll see 3 Hoosiers and 3 Golden Gophers and 1 dark horse, according to Sarah Kroll. In lane 8, Nick Foster, a sophomore from Michigan. But keep an eye on Kusha in lane 7, at least for the start. He, of course, won the Big Ten Cross Country Championship in Indiana a few weeks ago.
Yeah, Big Ten Cross champion, and looked under control. He ran the 3K on Thursday night, tried to just conserve a lot of energy in the mile, so looking to see what he can do. Also keep an eye out, Haft of Minnesota, he won his heat, he looked really good. Lots of names can mix in this race. That's Haft right there, his 4:01 personal best coming out of the prelim. So when you run a personal best in the prelim, did you run too much out of your legs, or are you looking at it and saying, hey, I feel really good? Running fast in the prelim is a lot of times underrated.
The Big Ten Championship record was set way back in 1998, just over 4 minutes. Kevin Sullivan. And Declan, real quick, as we set up the mile, remind everybody the length of the track and how many laps we're talking about.
Yeah, so we've got a 300-meter track here, so they're going to come up to the start line. They'll hit the bell, and it'll be 5 laps around once they come through this finish line here. So 5 and some change.
Geneva, Ohio has been a regular host for the Big Ten Indoor Championships, on a few years, then off, and here we go. The runners are set, and the men's 1 mile 2021 Big Ten Indoor Championship is underway.
What I'm really interested here, are we going to see the Big Ten Championships tactical affair? Things are really slow, everyone's in it with a lap to go. Or are we going to see what we kind of saw in cross country, where Kusha goes out, makes it an honest race? Now, there's some difficulty in doing that. If Kusha goes and makes it an honest race, he probably guarantees himself a spot in the top 3 to 4, but he definitely decreases the odds of getting that gold.
Right, now when you leave the field up to, a final 200, maybe 300, or even shorter 100-meter sprint, it can be wide open, especially as you can see these athletes are bunched up here in the early stages of the race. And now you can tell it doesn't really look like they're exerting a ton of energy. Now, that could play very well to Kusha. We know that he's got great finishing speed, along with Nick Foster, who is right to his right on the front of the track in the pack.
We're coming up to this 4:09 split here, so yeah, really slow, 60-66, and it looks like Haft, who had a great race just yesterday, is going to come out. He's going to push it a little bit. He doesn't want to leave it to the end.
So you see Kusha now in second, as Declan Murray just mentioned. Owen Haft, the senior for Minnesota. It's Eli Haft, rather, as Owen is also in this race.
That's right. We've got brothers in this one, and they're sitting 1-3 right now, and it's good positioning. They're able to do a little bit of teamwork here. Eli was able to squeak into the final, and by doing so, he can provide a little bit of a boost to Owen and try and give him a little bit more. We're going to come up. We'll give you an 800-meter split here shortly, but still, they did pick it up a little bit this lap, but that 66 first lap means everyone's really in this one.
See the move now from one of the 2 Michigan runners that are out there. As you see, wearing 507, Tom Dodd, and of course you featured Tom Dodd as a potential winner.
Yeah, the 358 miler, Dodd. He's having a great season so far. He came up, pushed the pace with Haift a little bit there, and they came through in about 208. So we're looking at a 66 and a 62. So they definitely picked it up, but again, it's starting to bunch back up. I wouldn't be surprised if this is another, 64, 65. Kusha is probably going to look here and say, okay, 600 meters to go. I need to be in good position.
Sarah, any glaring differences on how the men run the mile compared to the women running the mile?
Other than tactics, a lot of it is pretty similar. Typically what I've seen in the past in the men is exactly what we're watching here, these late pushes. And we can see they're really starting to move now with George Kusha out front. However, he's got to be cognizant to protect his space. He's right on the rail, and that definitely puts him in the danger zone as we approach about a quarter to go in this race.
Yeah, it looks like they ran about a 61, so came through. They've got a lap to go once they hit the finish line here. Kusha's established himself out front, and now we're seeing Shadler start to make a move.
So there is the bell for the final lap with Kusha, who won the Big Ten Cross Country Championship in Shelbyville, Indiana, not that long ago. Kusha.
Yeah, strong move by Kusha down the back stretch. Haift, though, responding to everything he's got. We've got 150 to go. Kusha, Haift, and Dodd. Those three are the ones that are going for it, but Shadler trying to make a late move for Indiana.
Nick Foster actually was the pick for Sarah Kroll. That's in the top three. Kusha, does he have enough? Down the final stretch. Heft making that long stride run. Heft with the long stride, and Kusha leans over. Kusha and Heft so close to call. Who do you got?
Blanket finish. Every time we see that dive, I think it surprises us. It looks like we hear some people celebrating, but I don't know right now. Every time we see that dive, it always seems to go to the one who dove. Maybe a dead heat. It looks like it's Heft. Haift, 4:05.45. Let's take a look at the finish here. Kusha just starts losing his footing. He dives, and I think that lean was enough for Haift. We'll see the results here in a second.
Well, I think the hand.
And that shoulder is what we're looking for. Shoulder and chest. Who got their shoulder or chest, that torso, across the line first?
So Heft by 1,000th of a second is unofficially how they've got it right now. Kusha, you're right, the hand doesn't qualify for the finish.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty there of what Kusha did of making that charge from about 600 out. So let's take a look at the results here, Dean.
Yeah, there it is. Heft, look at that, 1,000th of a point over Kusha. What a way to start the day here for the Big Ten Indoor Track and Field Championships.
Yeah, and a great run from Nick Foster, Sarah. You pointed out, Foster hasn't had a lot of racing yet in the Michigan singlet, but a great runner. He came out, he was ready to go, and that last 200, he made a strong move. Kusha and Haift just enough to hold them off.
All right.